Hey everyone, welcome to our sheet pan freezer meal workshop. Some of you will be cooking right along with me, doing your meal prep. Others will be watching the replay. So these are going to happen every month. We're going to be doing workshops to help you save money and save time, because your time is money as well. So as I do these workshops, I'm going to be sharing some time-saving tips. I'm also going to be sharing some food safety tips, and we're just going to get going and start with our vegetables. So before I get to our vegetables, I just want to talk about the two products that we're using today. And these are from the Sheet Pan 5-pack collection, brand new collection from Epicure. We're going to be prepping the tropical pineapple chicken. The instructions for this workshop was a double recipe, okay? So we're doing twice the amount because I find I get a lot of mileage out of this package, okay? So we're gonna make tropical pineapple chicken, and we're going to prep ahead the Philly style cheese steak, not cheesecake, cheese steak. So meal prep, if you're doing two different kinds of meals with two different kinds of protein, I highly recommend chopping your vegetables first. Now I'm also gonna let you in on a little secret here as well. I need to cook my Philly style cheesesteak today because I bought these steaks at the grocery store for 30% off, but they were due to expire soon. So what I did was put them in the freezer right away. So it's already been frozen. If you've already frozen your meat, you need to cook your meat. But the great thing is they are cooked. This meal takes, it says 15 minutes. Mine's gonna take a little bit longer because I have more ingredients going on the pan, but it only takes about 15 to 30 minutes to cook it up. So if you're using previously frozen meat, you need to cook up those recipes today. If it's fresh meat, you can pop your meal in the freezer, okay? So we're going to start with our vegetables first, and I'm going to start with these peppers using the Epicure chef knife. Now, the knife may not be available right now for individual sale. It's very sharp, comes with a guard, and it's great for slicing and dicing vegetables. And I like to do my vegetables first before cutting meats because I don't want to cross-contaminate. So that's why we always start with the vegetable, okay? So I'm gonna cut this yellow pepper, and I'm gonna cut a red pepper, and I'm gonna put these right on my sheet pan because these are going to be for my Philly style cheesesteak. Gonna do that. Double check how many, it calls for 2 sliced bell peppers. So if you want to throw more in, go for it. This is just a starting point. So if you have more mouths to feed, again, the packages go a long way, so you can add some more veg if you want. So I'm just slicing these peppers nice and fine. I'm popping them right onto my sheet pan. If you are prepping this for the freezer, you can pop it right into your freezer bags, okay? So this makes 6 servings. So if you wanted to do them in maybe 2-person servings, you would use the medium style or medium size freezer bags. Or if you're freezing the whole thing, you can use a large freezer bag. And I'm doing this legit meal prep right in front of you so that you can see how easy and quick this is. I didn't prep anything ahead of time. The only thing I did ahead of time was wash my vegetables so that I was ready to go. So you'll see I cut the top and the bottom off my pepper, then I just slice one side, and then I go around the seeds. That's going to save you time because then you don't have to I call it fiddle fart with the seeds. There's nothing more frustrating than fiddle farting with seeds, right? So the great thing about Epicure's products is everything's gluten-free, everything's peanut and nut-free, there's no added MSG, sugar, sodium conscious. I don't have to worry about there being artificial coloring in my cheesesteak flavor or cheesesteak seasoning. Okay, so those are the peppers for my sheet pan dinner. So I've got those on the sheet pan. The rest of my peppers I'm going to divvy up between 2 freezer bags. I've used a multi-purpose pot to hold my freezer bags open, because there's nothing worse than popping your ingredients in a freezer bag and having like raw meat and stuff touch the zipper. It doesn't close properly. So that's what I do. If you have a tall bowl, you can use a bowl. Doesn't matter. And you'll notice that I'm using my purple flexible cutting mat. In my house, the purple cutting mats from Epicure are just for vegetables, and the gray ones are for cooked meats or if we're slicing pizza. Anything that's had any protein or dairy on it, I cooked, of course. I use the gray flexible cutting mats. It's a good idea to color code your cutting mats just for food safety reasons, because you don't want to cross-contaminate meat. I don't like these white parts, so I'm just slicing those off, in case you wonder what I'm doing. Here we go. Okay. Also, here's another food safety tip. I took my Fitbit off and I took my rings off because I will be handling raw meat. And even though I'll be using a fork and a knife and not really touching the meat, you can never be too careful. And I've rolled up my sleeves as well. I've got my apron on because I don't want to cross-contaminate on my clothes as well. Food safety is so important because we don't want to make other people in our household sick. And I love having these freezer meals in the freezer because if you know someone that you love who is suffering from COVID, or maybe they've just had a baby and you want to drop off a meal, these freezer meals are perfect for serving your community and giving back. All right, so I'm just about done with these peppers. How's your prep coming along? You doing well? Awesome. Okay, so now I'm just going to take half the red peppers and put them in each of my freezer bags here because I'm doing a double recipe of the tropical chicken. And now it's time to slice my onions. So, yellow onion goes in the Philly style cheesesteak, and the red onion goes in the tropical chicken. So these are kind of big onions, and that's okay. So I just cut the bottom and the top off, do a slice down the side, and I did wash these onions before doing that. There we go. Cut it in half. Cut it in half again. And then just start slicing. So let's spread that out on my sheet pan here. We'll be adding the beef here in a minute. Smells very oniony in here. If you are watching the replay and prepping along, I hope you're not crying. If you're watching live and you're prepping along, I hope you're not crying. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Now I need to add my mushrooms. You can slice those down further if you want, but I tend not to. Here we go. So we've got all of the veg on the pan for the Philly style cheesesteak. Now I just need to cut my onion for my tropical chicken. Same thing, I cut the bottom and the top off. Then I peel the skin off. To cut that bottom off a little bit more there. There we go. Cut it in half again, and then we slice it. And we'll be putting half in one bag and half in the other. Great thing is, they're both ready to go here. All right, so now we need to add some sugar snap peas and some pineapple or mango to the tropical chicken freezer bag. So I'm going to put one prep bowl full of frozen mango in one bag, and the other prep bowl of frozen mango in the other. If you prefer canned pineapple, that's totally fine. My preference is the mango. So now we'll just take these snap peas and put half in each bag. And those will be ready for the chicken. Okay, so we'll set those aside. And now I am going to slice the beef. So my knife, I can now use to slice beef because I'm totally done with the vegetables today. Okay. Open this up. Now this is still a little bit frozen, which is actually okay because it's a little bit easier to cut that way, I find. But you don't want to be slicing or prying apart frozen meat with a ceramic knife because that might break your knife. You might break the tip. So I'm just going to cut this fat off. Look how nicely this ceramic knife cuts through that beef. So again, beef is very expensive right now, but I got mine for 30% off because I bought it on super sale, but I did have to freeze it right away. So that, my friends, is why we need to cook our Philly style cheesesteak today. Now you'll notice that I'm using an orange cutting board for this. So in my house, red and orange means meat, raw meat. I do not cut meat on my gray flexible cutting boards because that's for cooked meat. And my purple ones are for fresh vegetables and fruit. So it's nice to have a color code system that works for you and your family. So I'm just cutting some of this extra fat off because these are a little bit frozen still. It's a lot easier to cut that fat off. But again, if this was frozen solid, I would not be attempting to cut these steaks. So Philly style cheesesteak, if you were to go to a restaurant and get a Philly style cheesesteak, how much do you think you'd be spending? Quite a lot of money. I think the last time I saw it was $17.99 when I was looking online. So if you're ordering food for a family of 4, you are spending $17.99 per person. That's bananas. So you are saving tons of money cooking with Epicure products. And what I love about Epicure is that they honor people where their price point is. So if you are on a bit of a tighter budget and you can just get the Philly style cheesesteak 3-pack, maybe the whole collection is not in your budget, that's okay. And you can stretch the seasonings out so that they last, and you can make a double batch. There's some gristle on here that I want to get off. So those are some really great money-saving tips. If you've got money-saving tips for how you grocery shop and you do your meal prep, please share them in the comments. You will be helping out lots of other people. Grocery costs have gone up a minimum of 7%, I believe. There's some food shortages, raw ingredient shortages, depending on what you're looking for. Go. Okay, so that is done. Now, move all of this over, out of the way. And now we need to follow the instructions on the package. Okay, so I'm not going to make another bowl dirty because why would we want to do that, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this package open, and I'm actually going to sprinkle it over top of all of my ingredients. Like so. Forgot to grab my oil. I'll go grab my oil. Now when I'm making recipes like this on sheet pans, I like to use avocado oil or grapeseed oil because they have a higher smoking point. So if you're cooking at a higher temperature, you definitely, I'm going to add a little bit more oil to this just because I have more meat in this recipe. If you're using olive oil, it has a lower smoking point, so that's really good to know. Okay, so then I just take my tongs and I just kind of stir it around until all of that meat and all of that veg is coated, and then I haven't made another bowl dirty. I don't know about you, but the whole kitchen gets involved when I cook, and sometimes I just don't want to do the cleanup. Call me crazy. All right. Now that's pretty well coated. So this cooks at 375. Says for 15 minutes. Again, mine's going to take a little bit longer because I have a lot more ingredients on here. So it's going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. I'll check on it after the 20-minute mark. And once it's cooked, I can always freeze it then. You can freeze a cooked meal and then warm it up real quick in an Epicure steamer, or heat up a big batch in an Epicure steamer in the microwave, and it will not taste like leftovers. All right, so there we go. That is ready to go in the oven. Give my hands a quick wipe here, and now we are ready to prep the rest of our tropical chicken. Now, if you were working just with one knife, I would recommend giving it a good wash before switching to another protein, okay? So now I am switching to raw chicken, This is fresh, never frozen, which is why I can pop it in the freezer. Pop this meal in the freezer. Okay, so I do need to grab some coconut oil. Just one second. It calls for liquid or melted coconut oil. I always buy this liquid coconut oil because then I don't have to do any melting. You can also freeze this recipe without the coconut oil, but it does call for coconut oil in the recipe, and I just freeze it right in because I'm gonna forget to add it if I don't. I have to write on the freezer bag if anything else that needs to be added to the recipe. So there's a tip for you. If, let's say you don't have any mushrooms or you don't have any sugar snap peas to make your recipe, then write on the bag that you need to add an ingredient. Otherwise, you'll be like Linda and forget. It's so funny. So that sheet pan that I put that tropical chicken on, can you imagine how messy that sheet pan would be had I not been using the sheet pan liner? Unreal. Sticky, ooey, gooey mess. This meal, the tropical chicken, I highly recommend that you use the sheet pan liner because that pineapple and mango makes a sticky, ooey, gooey mess. Not my favorite. All right, so this chicken is almost sliced up. So generally, a full chicken breast is usually 2 servings in a recipe. So I don't know about you, but most people don't weigh their food when they cook. So if it calls for a pound of chicken, it's like, okay, 4 servings, pound of chicken. Do I have to weigh my chicken? Nah, if it calls for 4 servings, then just chop up 2 chicken breasts, and that will make approximately 4 servings. If you live in a household with growing young people like I do, you might want to cut up some more chicken. Okay, so we've got our freezer bags here. And I'm going to get those ingredients tossed down there a little bit. So now my tongs, I need another set of tongs here. Just realized my other tongs are in the dishwasher. Oh dear. We'll use these old school barbecue tongs. They are not as nice as the grip and grabs, but that's okay. Just need tongs to divide up this chicken. Okay. So this will be 2 full recipes for my family of the tropical chicken. Again, if you want to divide it up and make smaller portions, go for it. You can just use smaller freezer bags. Okay, so that's done. All is well. I just spilled a few things into the sink. So now it says in a large bowl, mix everything. We're not doing that. So what I'm going to do is I like to take these prep bowls. I need to find my scissors. There we go. Move that so you can actually see what I'm doing. And I kind of just fill till we're dividing the seasoning up equally. So this is a good tip if you're getting more mileage out of your seasonings. Just divide them up like so. And then I'm going to sprinkle about half onto my chicken there. And then I take it out of the bag, out of the pot, and I just kind of massage it around, like so. I I want all of my ingredients to be coated, and if I just add it to the top, they won't all get coated. So now I've got those veggies on top, and then I do the same thing, like so. So now everything's coated, and then I will be adding a tablespoon of coconut oil to each bag. Now, once that's sealed, or once that's nice and coated, I take my bag, I fold it in half, and I really squeeze the air out. Seal the bag, and I press it flat. By doing that, I can take it out of the freezer the night before and pop it in the fridge, and I've got a quick freezer meal. If you forget to take the meat out or take your meal out the night before, which I often do, this will thaw in a sink of cold water in about 30 minutes, and then you can pop it on your sheet pan and have a really nice quick sheet pan dinner. So there's that. Now I'm going to do the other one. Again, about half the seasoning. Take it out and just start massaging that seasoning onto the chicken. And do the rest. Whoops. Nice thing is, just scrape that right in the pot. Coat the rest of our meal. So this way, as it thaws, that seasoning is going to marinate your chicken. It's going to be beautiful. So yummy. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of the coconut oil. Massage that in. Now these pots, you may want to just give them a quick wash rather than put them right in the cupboard, just in case there has been some cross-contamination. But check that out. We have 2 full tropical chicken dinner meals to go in the freezer. And I've got about 8 servings of the Philly cheesesteak. I'm just gonna grab that for you. Got about 8 servings of the Philly style cheesesteak on this sheet pan. This is gonna take about 20 to 30 minutes to cook at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, I have the sheet pan liner on here. It's gonna save tons of mess for super quick cleanup. So folks, you legit watched me cut all of my vegetables, cut all of my meat, do all of the meal prep required to make about 16 servings of food, okay? That is how you meal prep. You pick common ingredients, onions, peppers, and that's how you meal prep, so that you can get food on the table quickly, because your time is precious, and it's also how you're going to save lots of money. Like I said before, I bought this meat on Super Save, 30% off, froze it, brought it out so I could make a quick sheet pan meal. So I hope you found this helpful. Please share what you learned in the comments. We all learn from each other. If you have a meal prep tip, please share it in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated, because we're all learning from each other. But I can tell you with Epicure, you're going to get clean ingredients. Again, gluten-free, 100% gluten-free, no added hydrogenated fats, corn syrup. It's all peanut and nut-free, excluding coconut, of course. And yeah, you're gonna get quick, easy meals on the table on a budget. So Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Next month, there is going to be a new menu posted at the beginning of the month with what we're going to prepare, what you need to pre-order if you want to do what I just did here and prep right along with me. And look at that. In 30 minutes, we prepped 16 servings, which is amazing. So thanks for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you back here next month. Bye, everybody.